Hi guys, so today we're gonna see a complete setup on my Stratocaster, just because I've read many bullshit about making this kind of setup. So I've decided to share with you my way to do this thing. I'm making setups on guitars by many years. You will see that many things we have to do, must be done with the guitar in playing position and not on the table. So I think that it's an easy thing. You have to practice your setup making to be completely perfect. I have to change my spring setup on this guitar because I've put 3 springs on this guitar with the kind of V-shaped configuration, but I don't like it. I think that the bridge on the top of the guitar makes me lose a lot of sound. So I'm gonna put 5 springs in my guitar and set the bridge in the floating position. So let's see what I'm gonna do. You will see the guitar in most cases. I wanna tell you to subscribe to my channel. You will find the subscribe button here, just down here, and click to the bell icon to not miss any video I make. It's important. You can follow me also on Instagram. I'm also there to see my pictures. I share many interesting and beautiful pictures every day. So let's start to do this thing. This will be a long video, so be patient, because we have to do many things. Let's start. Okay. This is the guitar we are gonna work today. First thing, I have to change that springs that holds the bridge flat on the top of the guitar, because I wanna set it to be floating. I think that I found that this kind of configuration gives me more vibration to the body. Or maybe it's much more the 5 springs, because now I have 3 springs here. So I'm gonna unscrew the tremolo bar here, because I don't need it right now. And then I have to turn the guitar and take off I need something to put in the springs. Ashtray here, a clean ashtray. So I'm gonna unscrew just normally the screws. My advice to work on guitars is always to use a manual screwdriver like this, because you want to be as accurate as possible. So I'm gonna take off these springs and the back plate. So as you can see, I have 3 springs, and I wanna put in, these are normal tension, normal Fender standard tension springs. I have older ones, older springs with low tension, so I can put all 5 springs without having, too much tension. So I'm gonna loosen the strings with a normal string unwinder, just as much I can that the springs are not popping out from the tuning machines, just to not have the strings tension on the bridge. So when I'll take off the springs, the bridge will not come up under the tension of the strings. Okay, so as I loosened the strings, I can now take off the springs and then put the new ones on. Very easy. I need 5 springs. So these are 5 low tension springs. I bought it in UK from Benson Guitars. Now I found that this kind of strings gives to me a better, vibration conduction to the wood. So simply, I have to put them. I'll have to loosen them for sure. Okay. When you do a setup, you should every time work on fresh strings. My strings are, pretty new, so I don't need to change them. But if you have old strings, making this setup is pretty useless. I'm pretty sure that when I'm gonna tune this guitar, it will the bridge will stay pretty flat on the top. I have to loosen the springs much more. But first thing I have to do is check the neck relief, the truss rod screw tension. So I'm gonna tighten the strings another time, and I have to tune them. So let's tune this guitar. I use for tuning a Korg digital tuner. This is a very precise, very accurate kind of tuner, and it's not cheap, but you can do the tuning with many tuners, but when you have to intonate your guitar, you should be as much accurate as you can. So in many cases you can go very mad because you can't intonate because of an inaccurate tuner. So keep that in mind. So I'm gonna just turn it in the standard way. Where is it? You're not to be very accurate, you know, you just have to put some tension on the neck, so, you know, it's not needed to be too accurate on this. So, now it's tuned, we have the right, you know, the right tension on the neck, so I can check the neck relief. The neck relief is some kind of a bow that the neck has to have to play just right. So it should be not completely flat. It should not be overbowed or underbowed, you know. And you to make this kind of measurement, you should press the low E string at the first and the last fret to you know, to have some kind of straight edge, some kind of straight edge on the neck to see its curvature, its bowing, you know. And you should have a look to the 7th fret. You should have some kind of maybe 0.3 or 0.2 relief, looking at the top of the fret and the bottom of the string. So I press and see at the 7th fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my neck is good, maybe a little too overbowed, but you know, see, to me it's good. Maybe I should just tighten it a little bit, don't know. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna take the measurement a little more, you know, accurately. So I'll take how do I say? A capo. I'll take a capo, put it on the first fret, and this kind of thing. This is these are filler gauges. I don't know how to say, but these are some kind of knife. I need one .30. These are a little bit rusty, so it's very hard to read the the number on them. So this is 0.3 millimeters. Every measure I'm gonna tell you will be millimeters, but every measure I use is based on the Defender guide for setup. So you can go to the Defender website and find the setup guide to have all the measurements in imperial kind of units. So I'm gonna put the capo on the first fret, press the last fret, and measure with my feeler gauge on the always on the 7th fret. It's perfect. So I have to leave it just as it is. You know, you don't need to be too much precise. I love that kind of vintage setup. So I don't want too much low strings, and so on every guitar I make the setup that should have been made on 7.7¼ inch radius fretboard. So, but you can just experiment to, you know, make the setup as you wish, as you love. I love, you know, not too low strings. Let me see. Okay. So next, if you had to, tune the truss rod, just consider that if you have an overbowed neck, you had to screw the truss rod screw. If you have an underbowed neck, you have to unscrew it, so the neck is gonna bend. Okay, so now we can, in my case, we can tune the springs to let the bridge come up and just be floating. You have to consider that when you loosen the springs, the bridge will come up, but at the same time the tension of the springs becomes loose. So now I have to loosen these screws just a bit lower, the way that the bridge becomes just a bit lower than the height I want, because when I'm gonna tune the guitar, the bridge will raise a little bit more. This is a thing that you will do many times when you make a setup. Just find the right kind of tuning, the right kind of force to have your bridge just in the position you want. Keep in mind that I think that you have not to be too much accurate. You know, you don't have to measure the height of the bridge. Just do it the way you think it's right for your playing. You know, I've read about many people talking to the note that the bridge should reach when you push the whammy bar down. So to me it's bullshit. Keep an eye to the bridge to be sure that it's not coming up too much. So when you tune the guitar, just keep an eye here. Some people, even Fender, loosens the center screws on our six kind of 6-screw bridge to let it be much more, you know, soft in the action. Actually, I did it and it's a good thing, but right now I want to place it just the normal way, the old normal way. You know, maybe I will do it. I will loosen a little bit the center springs, but now I want to keep it right flush on the bridge. Many people say that the floating bridge doesn't let you use alternative tunings, but you know, if you down tune your guitar an off step down, the bridge will move some kind of tenth of a millimeter, and I dare you to feel a tenth of a millimeter difference on that kind of tuning. So this is another bullshit I always hear. So to me the bridge is just good this way. I did it just at first try, luckily. So I'm gonna show you just for reference the height of my bridge. So I'm gonna just check with maybe it's a little bit higher, too high. Let me try. It's just good. So in the meantime, I decide to raise a little bit the center screws, the 4 center screws on my bridge, because I just to do it just for sure, and because I want to show you how I do it. So I'm gonna take another of these things, I don't know how you say it, and raise a little bit the screws. I'm gonna take a very thin gauge, maybe point 15 or point 20. No, maybe point 20 is better. Oh, gas is there. 25 too much. 55, 65, 20. So I'm gonna do with this tuning with the bridge, the strings, just tuned, and the bridge raised up in its end position. So I'm gonna, just because I want that the screws has the correct height when the bridge is in my playing position. So I'm gonna just move the string, unscrew my screw, put the gauge just under the screw, and then screw it. I'm taking the measurement on the front of the screw. Maybe I had to move the camera to let you see. Okay, this way should be better. I'm gonna screw the screw until I can't take off the gauge from under the screw, and then loosen it until I can slide the gauge under the screw to have just the needed space. Okay, and I'll do it for the other screws as well. And now, just to be sure, I'm gonna check that the external ones are just tightened. Okay, so these should be. No, I don't like it. So I'm gonna do another thing to tune this bridge. I'm gonna, because I see that when you take the bridge down, maybe the strings are too tightened, and then the bridge can't go down. So I'm going to loosen the strings, and this is the way when you then to tune the strings, the screws or this kind of a bridge just right. So I loosen the strings and I unscrew the screws very much to let the bridge just sit down on the top of the guitar. Okay, Then I'm gonna screw the external ones as much as I can without doing too much force. Then I'm gonna screw center ones with my 20 feeler gauge. Okay, so okay, then I'm gonna tune it another time. I don't care if the guitar is down on the table, because right now I just need some tension. I don't need the guitar to be tuned, I just need some tension. As I told you before, when you make a floating bridge kind of setup, you have to try many times before you can find the correct kind of setup, the correct kind of, bridge tuning. It's a little bit harder to do the setup this way, so I'm gonna tune it. So I don't need to be too much precise, too much accurate. So now I want to, show you the height of my bridge, just to reference, So I'm gonna take my camera. This is the height on my bridge. Just a little bit. It could be maybe a couple of millimeters, maybe. And the screws appears just like this. You can't see the difference in height on the screws, because if you remember, the four internal ones are more high than the external ones. But with the 0.20 filler gauge, you can't even see the difference. So and I like it. I like this way because I don't like to see that the screws are very higher than the center ones are very higher than the external ones. So now we're gonna tune the action of the guitar. To many people this is the main problem. Everyone wants a low, a very very low action, but I tell you, this is, every guitar has its perfect action. And it's also true that everyone has is perfect kind of action. So you had to experiment with your guitar to find the right action for your guitar, for yourself. I tell you that I use the measurements. Wait, I want you to see me. So I tell you that I use the Fender measurements. I place the 2 millimeters on the low E and 1.6 on the high on every guitar, every Fender guitar I have. Even if I have some guitars that has the 7.25, the 9.5 inch radius fretboard, where I could put a little lower action, but I don't like it. So I use the 2 and 1.6 on every guitar, on every Fender guitar. Anyway, you can see that you can see the guide, the Fender guide. You will find it just down here in the text description to see all the measurements I use. So let's tune the action of this guitar. So to tune the action, you should be in sitting position, as you want, as you usually play your guitar. The guitar must be in vertical position and not on the table. With a floating bridge, you should with the floating bridge, you should be sure that your guitar is almost tuned, because you want to have the bridge on the right in the position that you will play it. So I'm gonna check the tuning just to be sure. And then you can take the measurements of your action. On Fender guitars, you had to take the measurements at the 17th fret. As always, you had to take the distance between the higher part of the fret to the lower of the string, and we are gonna first tune the heights of the first and the sixth string, so the low E and the high E, and then we will tune the radius of the saddles to match the radius of the fretboard. So to take the measurement, you have two ways to do it. Just a normal ruler, just like this, or you can use a digital caliper like this one if you are paranoid. So if you want to make the measurements very precise, you can use one of these. You know, it's not very immediate it's not very easy to get how to use one of these things to take a measurement like this. So I'm gonna show you. You have to take the gauge on the string, measure with this one, the gauge of the string, and then reset the caliper. So put it on 0, measuring the string. Then you have to take off the caliper and put it on the height of the string you want. So I'm gonna put it on 2 millimeters because I want to, but you know, don't care, please don't care about the measurement I'm telling you. Just take the measurements on the Fender guide I'm gonna post in the description. So I'm gonna take it on 2 millimeters, and then I'm gonna measure the the string guides with this little tiny kind of, I'm gonna show you with these little tiny thing that comes out from the bottom part of the caliper. So I'll put it on the guitar just like this. I'm gonna measure it. You know, it's a very precise kind of measurement, but you don't need to do it just like this, and it's perfect. You know, my guitar, I think that my guitars are possessed. Maybe it's fear, they are. Because maybe they are scared about me. Boom. Anyway, that's a little bit too hard. It's perfect. So it's perfect. Anyway, I moved the bridge in every way I can. I raise it, I've lowered it, but it's just perfect. So and then, you know, the low E is perfect. Now I'm gonna check the high E string, and it's perfect too. Maybe it's fear. I'm scaring my guitars that they set up by themselves. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the low and on the high E string, just to be sure, but to me it's perfect. And it is. Maybe the high E1, it's a little bit high, so I'm gonna lower it a little bit. So I'm gonna take my little tiny X screw to do this. And lower it a little bit. The saddles on a Stratocaster should be perfectly parallel to the plates of the bridge. So I'm gonna be sure that it's perfectly parallel, and then recheck the height. Now it should be just perfect. Yes, it is. I wanna, lower a little bit the Louis, just to be just to show you the way I tune the saddle's radius, and just because I see that the saddle is not very parallel to the bridge plate. A little bit more. You have to try. Okay, now I'm good, and I'm going to, really I don't need it. Anyway, now we have to match the fingerboard radius with our saddles. So we are gonna put the guitar on the bench and just tune the fingerboard radius, the saddle's radius, sorry. I'm gonna do this tuning with a radius gauge, just like this one. Hope you will see it in focus. And putting it on the guitar with the radius set on the radius on the feet of the fingerboard. I have a 7.25 radius. So I'm gonna place it on the strings and check that every string just follows this kind of radius. So it's very easy to do because we have the outer strings at the right 8. I don't care if the guitar is in the laying position, because what I care is the height of these two strings, and I've tuned this height when in the sitting position. So when I'll take the guitar and put it in the sitting position, all the strings will come down together at the same way. So I don't care if the guitar is just laying. So I place this thing just like that, and I'll do my job. So maybe it's better to take this one off, because it would be much more comfortable to work. So I have to raise it or lower it to match my gauge. I don't know what I did when I made this setup. I don't like how this guitar was set up. It's very, inaccurate many times. Maybe you are in a hurry or something like that, and you can stand many times to be too much, accurate. Be sure that the strings lays just in the center of the saddle, just to be sure. I need to raise this one a little bit more. And just be always sure that the saddle is perfectly parallel to this edge. If you see this edge, the edge of this, wait, I'm gonna let you see better. Be sure that this edge is parallel to this one, so you can see that the saddle is parallel to the base plate. Okay. Anyway, you can see, you can have some kind of hint that the saddle is not parallel. No, it's not perfectly parallel to the base plate. When you see that the screws comes out from the saddle in a different way. I see that this one in this saddle, this screw is coming out from the saddle much more than this one. So I'm pretty sure that this saddle is lower on this side, so I'm gonna check it. It's not a perfect rule, because many times you see these kind of things and the saddle is perfectly parallel, but it's better to check when you see this kind of thing. Although, as always, you have to try to reach the correct tuning, the perfect one. Anyway, here you should be as much accurate as you can. When you hold these things, you should try to not apply pressure on the strings. Just lay it on the strings without applying any pressure. I don't like this kind of setup, so I'm gonna lower all the center saddles, so make it another time, because I don't like, and I can't find which saddle is tuned bad, so I can touch the I string with my radius gauge. So if I lower all the saddles, all the center saddles, I'm sure that my gauge touches these two external strings, so I can then tune the height of the four internal saddles. unfortunately, this part of the setup is very long, and I hope you like to see it. But if you don't care, if you have got how I do it, please go ahead. Anyway, when I'm working on this thing, maybe I can remember something that I want to tell you. So this is the reason that I don't, just jump every kind of thing, every little thing I do. So, and this is the reason. Okay, so I had to raise a little bit this one, and then it's done. Okay, now I'm satisfied, so I'm gonna check that all the saddles are perfectly parallel to the top of the guitar. So now I'm satisfied about this setup. Okay, now we are gonna intonate the guitar. I'll do this thing in a sitting position, maybe. You can do it even in the laying position, but maybe it's better to do it in playing position, just to be sure that the bending of the neck doesn't give you a difference in length of all the from the capo, the nut, and the saddle. So we are gonna move and then intonate the guitar. I would like to show you the tuner when I do this. Anyway, maybe I can't, so I'm gonna just move and let you see how do I do it. So what I'm gonna do right now is to tune the distance of the playing string, the length of the playing strings, and then the length of the string, the distance that goes from the nut and the saddle, for every saddle and every string. So this way we are gonna make the strings play the same note on the zero position and the 12 and the string played at the 12th fret. So in this way, making this kind of thing, we are pretty sure that the string gives the right note on every fret of the fretboard. The guitar isn't a perfect instrument. You will never have perfect notes on the whole fretboard. So don't stick with the fact that you can't intonate perfectly the guitar. You are. So let's try to intonate this guitar. First thing first, we have to tune the guitar as much precisely we can in this case, because we have to reach the right. I have the tuner right down there to to check the tuning. So I'm gonna tune it as better as I can. You don't need to lower the pickups, as someone says. There is a famous Italian luthier that says that you have to lower the pickups to intonate the guitar, and this is another bullshit, because you're not going to play the guitar with the pickups lowered. So there is no reason you would lower the pickups to intonate the guitar. If the pickups are too high, every time you're gonna play the guitar will be out of tune. So you have to tune, to intonate the guitar, just like almost at the same pickup rate you will play it, and the guitar should be intonated just like when you're gonna play air 8 or air. Anyway, so I'm gonna tune the low E. Okay, and then check the harmonic at the 12th fret, and then check the note played at the 12th fret. It's a little bit flat, so I have to make the guitar, the string shorter to let her play, sharper when I play it at 12th fret. So I'm gonna unscrew the saddle to let her go forward, and then have a little shorter string. I retune the string and then check another time. It's perfectly tuned from 0 unfretted note to the 12th fretted note. It can be perfectly intonated. You can see the tuner going a little bit flat, a little bit sharp, but it's almost tuned. You should not apply too much pressure, just the pressure you need to let the string play, let the string sound. It's a little bit flat. See, it's a little bit still flat, so I can work another beat. You should not apply too much force to turn the screws of the saddles. If you feel that you can turn easily the screws, just lower the tension of the string and then make the adjustment with the string lowered, because maybe you all have very I don't know how to say, not thin, but anyway, maybe could be the tension on the string that lets you don't move the saddle. So I'm gonna check another time and it's better. Another tiny bit. Anyway, intonation could be let you go mad, so don't stick too much with accuracy. And now it's sharp. No, a little bit. A little. So, moving the saddles forward and backwards let you tune the left of the vibrating string, and then tune the notes when you fret them on the finger. But I have to do the same thing on the whole fretboard. Anyway, the guitar has some kind of standard pattern to be intonated. So I'm gonna try to reproduce that kind of pattern. So I will have to make less movements to be intonated. Okay. Maybe it will be just in tune. Yes, it is. The string. Same tune. G string. A little bit flat. So I'm gonna move the saddle towards the neck to let the string be shorter. Okay, then the B string. A little flat. So I'm gonna move the saddle towards the fretboard. Same thing. Perfect. And then my string, I bet it's flat too. No, this one is good. Now retune all the strings and to be sure that your guitar is intonated, you can play some octaves and just try to hear if they have some kind of wobbling sound when two strings are slightly out of tune. You can hear a sound like wong 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 wong, something like that. So I'm gonna play. To me it's perfect. I can't hear any warbling sound. If you hear some kind of wong 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 sound between two strings, maybe one of the two strings is not perfectly intonated, so you can go back and intonate it another time. Maybe you have pressed too much the string or too light, and you had not the correct reading on the tuner. Now we're almost done. It's a very long video. Sorry. Now we're gonna just close the guitar and we are done. I wanna tell you another little thing, and I'm gonna show you it right now. We are gonna close the back of the guitar because we have finished our work. You should tune the claw, this metal part here, to be perfectly parallel to this edge. This edge should be perfectly parallel to this one to this one. So if I do it by eye, I can see if the claw is perfectly parallel. If you are paranoid, you can take the measurement just like this and move the screwdriver to see if the space between the wood edge and the claw changes this way, or you can take the ruler and measure that the distance is just the same, but you should be very paranoid. Anyway, if you want to, this doesn't give any problem, so there is no problem about that. Anyway, I'm gonna close the back plate. Always using manual screwdrivers. I don't like electrical ones. You don't need to tighten them too much because you can crack the plastic. Just as much as is needed to keep the thing in place. Then I'm gonna is the tremolo bar, please. And then you should tune the pickup height, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's very easy. I was almost forgetting it, so let's move another time in playing position. So tuning the pickup height is very easy. You have just to push the string, the last fret, and then measure the distance between the hole, the pickup hole, and the bottom of the string. You will take the measurements from the Fender setup guide that you can find just below in the description, and then raise or lower the pickup just to reach that the correct height. So, and there is nothing else you have to do. Keep in mind that every screw you turn on your guitar should turn just without any force. It should be easy to turn every screw. If you have to apply force to turn every screw, any of the screws of your guitar, every kind of screw, there should be a problem that you can, you should resolve. So keep in mind that thing, because you can damage your guitar. So keep that in mind, and if you do all the things just like I told you, you can't make any damage to your guitar. Every kind of tuning you're gonna do on your guitar should be done in little steps. If you are going to tune your truss rod, you should turn your screw by little steps, maybe a quarter of a turn, and check every time, and you can't really make any damage if you don't force or make too much big turns of the truss rod screw. If you have the screw under the neck, you have to unscrew and take off the neck from the guitar every time you're gonna tune it. But there is really, it's not needed to do it very often. You should check the setup of your guitar every time that the temperature changes from winter to summer and from summer to winter, so almost 2 times in the year. So there is no need to make the setup too often. If your guitar needs too much setups, too much then 2 or 3 setups in the whole year, maybe there is something wrong with your guitar. You should bring it to a luthier to find a solution. Anyway, this is a very long video. As I told you, I've showed you everything I've done to my guitar, just because I want you to see everything this, of the process of the whole setup. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel here, just below the video. There is the subscribe button, then a little icon, bell icon beside of the button to always receive all the updates about the video I'm gonna upload. Then I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow me as Moody Fraser, even on Instagram or Facebook, so go there. I'm not making many videos in English, and I don't write in English very often, but on Instagram there are many beautiful pictures I make, so you can see the pictures. There is no need to read anything. Anyway, goodbye to you. This is the complete setup of the guitar for every guitar, for every Fender guitar. Don't forget to stick. Don't forget to read the Fender specs in the link that you find in the description, and have fun tuning, setting your guitars very well.